All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's Wednesday, October 23rd, Planning Commission meeting. Robin, do we have any public comment?
No general public comment, no.
Okay, so we'll close public comment. Next is the approval of the minutes from the last meeting, September 25th of the Planning Commission. Hope you've all had a chance to take a look at it. Yep. Any questions or comments on the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from September 25th, 2019.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Great, I have a motion second. Any discussion?
I'm sorry, who seconded it? Was it?
It was Fred.
Oh, Fred.
Smeet
You
made the
sounded
motion
different.
and seconded
Okay.
by Fred. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Okay.
Okay.
It's going to be short and sweet tonight. We have one item, a preliminary plat. Third time's a charm coming
Actually,
up.
Robin, I haven't read the chairperson's script. I probably should do that
Okay, go ahead.
first. Sorry about that. Actually, I have to read both scripts this evening because of what it is.
You can just do the one. You don't have to do the regular one like
Okay.
you did. Just do the preliminary
short
plat
one?
because there's no other items.
All right, I will do just that. All right, the Planning Commission is tasked by the city's subdivision ordinance to conduct a public hearing on proposed preliminary plats that have been found to be complete by the Community Development Department. At the conclusion of the public hearing, the Planning Commission is required to review the proposed preliminary plat and provide comments and make recommendations regarding the plat to the Community Development Director. The Planning Commission does not approve or reject the proposed preliminary plat, but merely provides comments or recommendations based on the public hearing and the Planning Commission's review of the proposed preliminary plat. Okay, so now we're official.
So this preliminary plat is called The Grove at Sweet Apple, and it's located off of Ebenezer Road on the north side. And you can see the city of Roswell is across the street right here, and we kind of jog in and out a little bit, but primarily on the north side of Ebenezer is within the city limits. And the owner developer is Brightwater Homes, LLC. It's 11.11 acre tract. Currently undeveloped, it's proposing 9 single-family lots at 0.81 units per acre, and it is currently zoned AG1. This may look a little familiar. This was originally, I believe, a part of when they came a few years ago to do a CUP. So they didn't take down this piece immediately when they went ahead and did the AG1 development to the west and to the north of it. So this is the site plan, and Ebenezer's over on your left. And to the right and to the north is their existing subdivision that's under development, and a lot of it has been built out, and it's a very nice subdivision, I must say. Very creative. They've kept a lot of their trees, really have people just site their homes. And I think Joel had mentioned when they want to start doing swimming pools, they pretty much limit what the area they can do. So if they want to do a swimming pool, it doesn't fit in the area, which then they don't do a swimming pool. They're told to go somewhere else. So it really has turned into a very nice subdivision. I think they just want to continue that type of development in this second part of the Grove at Sweet Apple. You can see that it's a road that kind of tees off, and that meets all the fire regulation that is required. And they're preserving, it'll be part of the lake will be part of the development as well. And there's some conservation area in the back. And then this there's a walking path that meanders through the other subdivision to the north, and it'll meander around this subdivision and down into the road as well. So it provides some nice walkability for the area. So with that said, based on the submitted site plans and supplemental information, the proposed preliminary plat meets the requirements of the city codes as they pertain to the development of this property. So Mr. Joel Ferguson is here. If you have any questions specifically about the development, he'd be happy to answer them, or any questions to me. Doug.
Thanks, Robin. Robin, do you remember just a simple question, hopefully a simple question to begin with? when this was before us originally, it was part of the CSO CUP request, correct?
Correct.
Do you remember how many lots were planned for this area back then?
I couldn't tell you for that exact area. Maybe Joel could, but I couldn't say
Okay.
exactly, so.
All right, that's the only question I had
Yeah.
for you right now. Do you guys have questions for Robin or for the applicant?
Okay.
I mean, so like lot 8, it says planned road A private. What was that?
Ah.
maybe?
Lot 8.
Yeah, is it going to be a private road?
Oh, going into, the road would be private, yes.
So will it be gated?
No,
So this
correct, it is, you're proposing it as a private road, or, yes, yeah.
is that for the whole subdivision or just for this lot?
No, for the entire subdivision. So that's probably a drive, so for lot 8, 5, 6. Oh, are you looking at the underlying road that kind of cuts through it? That's an existing old
Well, it's-
driveway.
It says right under 50-foot access and utility easement, Robin, second lot in from the left, as you're looking at the map, coming off of Ebenezer, it says planned road A, private.
Yeah, that's the road right here, and that's going to be a private road, but it won't be gated. So
I'm
it's just
sorry.
referring to the road to the north.
So it's,
Well,
Or
it
not
is-
north, but
The
to
road
above
into
it.
this actual, into this subdivision.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
That's referring to the road into this subdivision?
Yes,
Or to
yeah,
these-
mhm.
Is there, is it unusual that it's private but not gated?
No,
Have we had roads like that before?
yeah. I mean, it's actually an advantage for the city because we don't have to maintain the roads. It's the HOA that does, so.
I don't know if this is yours or the applicant, but they're calling this Sweet Apple Road.
I can't see it from here. You guys have the better copy. I mean,
And
is
Sweet
that what you're
Apple,
proposing for the?
how can,
No, that's not the proposed road name.
not?
The Newman Road, no.
Well, it says on our project map, it says project name, Sweet Apple Road.
that's why I was confused,
Let me
because
see.
that means we've got, I know they didn't intend that, because Sweet Apple Road's over.
Right.
Look in the lower left-hand corner,
Planned Road A, private. Where are you seeing Sweet Apple Road?
down in the corner.
Down the corner.
Oh, that's just the project name for the fire flow, so they could see, that's not
Okay.
the name of the road.
Okay.
It's a planned road A, private, so it's not been named yet.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was like, let's see that. Yeah, for whatever reason, that's what was written into the application for the fire flow test.
And I'm assuming, so everything's been checked out to determine that there's enough space on that road for all the services to come through and back out?
Correct. So it's been reviewed by the fire marshal, by the transportation engineer, so it's all been, like it was stated at the end of the presentation, it meets all the rules and regulations for city code for the development. Yep.
Is there a reason it's a hammerhead rather than a cul-de-sac?
I think that it was trying to, because of that stream buffer that comes out toward it, it was just the way to manage not to encroach into the stream buffer and to be able to meet the fire code.
Okay.
But if Joel wants to, is that pretty much the reasoning?
And to provide, there'd be a spot for the mail kiosk and
Right.
access to the trail. It's kind of a
Yeah.
trailhead. But that-
Yeah, it's kind of like a trailhead, and that's where the kiosk, mail kiosk is, so.
I've got a couple
Yeah,
for the
keep going.
applicant.
Sure.
One, I didn't find a retention pond anywhere.
Does the
wanna
existing pond
speak?
serve as the,
Is it, yeah, that was my question.
Joel, you want to speak to the detention, or does it go into the lake and then?
I believe he's provided, it'll be a rural streetscape, and he's provided a method in the swells.
In this, okay, so they provided for bioswales along Ebenezer? You said the
Actually, along
street?
the private-
Oh, along the actual new road.
So is this a no curb and gutter example then?
Correct, yeah. That's how
Great.
the other part of the subdivision is.
Oh, I like that. That's great. That's more in. where I'd
So
love to
yeah,
see
so
our
it's more
community go.
traditional rural section where you got the swale, so that's gonna contain and control some of the stormwater.
I'm a believer in that.
Yeah, so all those really specifics, I mean, this is a preliminary plan, so when they go to land disturbance permit, that'll all be the rest of it finalized.
Yeah, because on lot 5 and also on lot 4, I'm sure they've figured it out, but how they were getting off of the main part of the road into where the home's going to be placed, where the driveway would be to enter that
So
property.
the driveway can go against the property line, so that gives them, I don't know if you want to address.
I think that, I mean, they're not fully laid out and planned on every lot yet, but I think the intent would be to come off the ends of the hammerhead, if you would call it that.
Right.
The driveway would enter at that spot.
Right. And so the trees like on lot 4, the intent is to keep those trees on lot 4, correct? Yeah.
All 3 or all 4 of those that are identified as specimen trees?
As far as I know, like, as I said, the house hasn't been completely sited on your design yet, but I think that would be the intent, is to try to preserve it.
Do you know what the average square footage is going to be?
It would be similar to our existing community, somewhere from 3,400 to probably 4,200 square feet or 4,400 square feet.
Do you have a targeted price range at this point?
My assumption is it'd be similar, probably from nines to $1 million plus.
Yeah.
In our existing neighborhood, it's been 9 to 1.3, so
Okay.
probably that same range.
Same question on lot 5, that tree.
Yeah, is the specimen tree on 5, is that likely to stay as well?
I think that it would. It's outside of the build line, and I think the house would probably sit back from that. Fairly easily locate on that site and preserve that.
There's a couple of spots where it looks like the new plan will cover up what may be existing trails today. So those trails going to be recreated to,
It's
as a,
actually more of an access road. It's a gravel road.
Yeah, those were gravel roads.
well, it looks like it's in a couple places. If I'm, for the sake of convenience, if the top of the chart is north,
Right.
at the very north end of it, along the back of 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like there's a trail, and it goes into the buffer area, and then it goes around the
Right,
pond,
so
of
that's the
course.
trail that's going to be there for the community. Yeah.
Correct. And these will actually have access to that trail.
Right.
So they'll all tie into the same trail network and have access to it.
Right.
Is it intended to be private community access only to those trails?
I think the internal trails, the intent would be that it's for the communities. I think we'll end up, this HOA would kind of join the other HOA so we can share those, access to the lake and to those trails as well.
Okay.
That's the intent.
Same thing, hopping on the same trail subject. So on lot 5, where it says proposed trail location to be determined in the field, and that area right there is all owned by same company, same ownership?
Right, yeah, so.
That whole open space?
Brightwater owns all this land, including where the lake is and on the top and everything that's in here. Obviously not below, but everything in that rectangle is owned by Brightwater or under the jurisdiction of the HOA with the other subdivision.
It's actually in the permanent land trust.
Right, a permanent land trust, yeah.
And then, Robin, I guess the other question I had was the open space, it says 0.16 acres, so is that enough open space?
We don't require any for AG1, they're just saying that that's how much there is. So under the CUP, we would require open space, but they're doing a plenty, so they're doing a really good job of trying to preserve as much as possible, so. Yeah, this is just the vanilla AG1 subdivision, that there's no requirements for open space, they just called it out.
And Robin, can trails go in the undisturbed buffer?
So the last 75, the last layer is, so long as it's pervious, it can be in that last outside ring.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually they have some, and so long as it's there are some trails that go into the stream buffer, but so long as they're hand done and they don't disturb very much, then they can be in that area.
Okay. Any more questions or comments, guys?
Okay.
I think it's a good plan. I think I'm not wild about the hammerhead versus a cul-de-sac, but I think the way you were describing it, where the driveway access will make that more of a natural flow than if it were just a true hammerhead with dead ends there. I think that the trail system is great. That's, what we're talking about in Milton. I recognize it's going to be private, but I love the fact that there's going to be access for the community to a trail system. I love the fact that your density is 0.8, whatever it was, 8.88 or 0.81 throughout, which is just a far cry from when we heard this originally from what the plan was when it was a CUP or CSO. So thank you for that consideration. I also appreciate the commitment to the preservation of the specimen trees. Those are all things that are very important to Milton. But if there are no other questions or comments, I would just propose, Marvin, that I don't think we need a vote of any kind, just to say that we endorse the project. And
I think in the past you've made a motion just saying that you're in support of it.
Yeah.
So.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for that.
We go on record as being in support of the preliminary plat.
Great, thanks, Ron. Is there a second? Second from Fred Edwards. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None.
Okay, so
Thank you.
the only announcement I have is next month, because of Thanksgiving, our meeting is scheduled for the 20th of November, and we will have an item which will be the nursery up on Birmingham Highway. I'm having a senior moment of remembering the name of it, but it's right there, Ashford Gardeners, yes, started with an A. So that'll be a use permit that'll be before you for your recommendation. It already exists, it's existed for a while, and so I'm just bringing it to you.
Just hasn't been properly registered with the city, is that the?
Right, it was, so basically they won a contract for mowing, a mowing contract for the right-of-ways, and I said, oh, by the way, they don't have a use permit for a landscape business, so they're trying to correct that.
Robin, if we, just a question in general, if there's take that business as an example. No, let's not take that business as an example. Let's just use an arbitrary AG1 piece of land where a landscape business may have approached us in the past. And the business has failed, or for whatever reason, it's no
Right.
longer in operation. Can another landscape business come in under the same use
Yes,
permit?
it stays with the property.
Okay, and can that be other businesses besides a landscape business?
No.
Or it has to come back for
Has
its
to
own
be a
application?
landscape business, yeah.
Okay.
As you all defined it, yep.
Yep. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
So I saw in the paper, they have about 10 or 12 items that they would like to get.
Yeah, there's,
So those all-
there's like 14 concurrent variances. A lot of it,
They already exist? I mean,
Yeah,
what they're
pretty
asking
much
for
it all-
already exists. and we have to look at it, whether we want
So a lot of the variances are because of things that already exist, but also when we worked together to rewrite the use permit for the landscape business, I don't know if you remember the part about not having so many vehicles to be exposed, that they had to be within a building. So they have quite a few vehicles, trucks, and so they're proposing a structure that you will not see from the highway, but it does not conform with the overlay standards, but at the same time, it's a fairly appropriate looking building. So it's kind of like, do you get a variance to the section that says you have to have covered vehicles, or do you get more some variances to the architecture for this building that's going to cover vehicles? So when you see the staff report, there's a lot of, so another issue is that comes up with this item is they take yard waste, landscaping yard waste, and then there's a horse farm to the north. So they bring the manure over across the property line, and then they have a mixer. But one of the regulations is that all composting has to be in a container, but that's not how it's done. So again, it's a great intent, but it doesn't meet the letter of the law. So that's why there's a variance for that. So as you see it, it sounds like a lot of variances, but hopefully it makes sense.
Okay,
So
all right. Well, we'll look forward to measuring that with the benefit of staff's help on that next month.
Yep. And then we have the joint work session with you all and the tree preservation stakeholders on the 7th, which is a Thursday of November. Okay?
Yes, that's actually before.
Correct, yes.
That's 2 weeks from now.
Right. And so it's Sandra's intent to try to get the packet out tomorrow or Friday. So you guys have a good 2 weeks to look at it.
Great.
And the packet will include a red line version.
Yes. Would you guys like to have a clean version too?
Why not?
Sure.
Yeah, I think sometimes with the red lines, things get a little gobbledygooked, and it's nice to have the clean version to be able to see what, how it's translated. So, okay. I'll let her know.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right. Second. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Adjourned. Thank you, guys.